Shrinate, and this is a very, very special edition of the India Development Debate right here on ET Now. Because God is for all and there cannot be any gender or age-based discrimination when it comes to the rights to pray, to worship. That is the historic verdict of the Supreme Court, which opened the doors of the famous Sabarimala Temple in Kerala to women of all ages. Clarifying that the ruling is applicable to all temples, Chief Justice Deepak Misra said biological conditions of a woman cannot be linked to temple rituals. In a majority verdict, the 5-judge bench said the entry restriction for women aged between 10 and 50 years is violative of the right to worship. Interestingly, the lone woman judge in the bench, Justice Indu Malhotra, dissented with the verdict, stating that notions of rationality cannot be brought into matters of religion. The ruling has elicited mixed response from the devotees of Lord Ayyappa. While a vast majority hails the verdict, some said courtroom is not the right place to debate religious practices. The Supreme Court's historic verdict on the entry of women in the Sabarimala Temple is the big topic of debate right here on the India Development Debate this evening. I'm Supriya Shrinate, and let's go straight across to a panel of experts that's joining us with their very, very varied views on this. Shilpa Nair, co-founder and president, People for Dharma; Abha Singh, senior lawyer; Anuja Chauhan, author; and of course Anand Ranganathan, scientist and author. Thanks very much all of you for being with us. And Abha Singh, if I may start with you, the Sabarimala verdict comes on the back of other historic verdicts, whether it's Section 377 or the one quashing adultery as a criminal offense. Have we finally left it to the courts what politicians fear to do? This is a region where they fear to tread in, thanks to all the political motivations, thanks to all the political reasons. Are courts today deciding what ideally politicians and society should have?
Absolutely agree with you, because I was also commenting the same thing, that all the revolutions are taking place in the court. The parliament is sitting quiet because 377, be it triple talaq, everything. In fact, this parliament is unable to pass the bill pertaining to triple talaq, which was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Coming to Sabarimala, I would call it a heralding gender justice, because there were issues which were raised by the temple authorities, saying again and again that they were a denomination, and even earlier when Kerala High Court and Bombay High Court had upheld the customary laws over constitution. But today is a victory for constitutional morality above all, and it has clearly said that our right to equality and right to life also means right to live with dignity. And the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court has rightly said that anything which violates the dignity of the women, any discrimination, be it on biological or physiological grounds, is arbitrary and needs to be crushed, and that is what it has been done. However, I'm a little disheartened that the dissenting voice has said that even irrational customs should be followed.
Okay, and the dissenting voice ironically comes from a woman on that bench. But hold your thought there. Shilpa Nair, I'll come to you. The likes of Rahul Ishwar have already said that they will file a review petition. How hopeful are you, considering this judgment is not coming in from just any other justice? It's coming from a 5-judge constitutional bench of India's apex court.
Namaste. Thank you for inviting me on this panel. I'd like to first of all say that there is, as my friend has just told, that there was a discrimination against women. I should say that there's no discrimination against women in this case. The women are entering the temple. It is only that there was an age bar because of the history behind that temple and the deity's right, basically. So those who know the history behind why this was followed, they wouldn't, oppose to this. So what I feel is that the judges have not really learnt about the temple, the history, the tradition, what we were following. They have not learnt the subject very well before making this verdict. So we are still, even ourselves, People for Dharma, we are planning to, ask for a review. Because we are also not happy about the verdict. We respect the Supreme Court, but at the same time, we feel that, the whole fact of the whole Sabarimala temple has not been taken into consideration.
Okay. Shilpa, can I come in for a minute? I respect your faith and I respect your belief in your faith. I'm not going to dispute that. I think faith is something that's extremely personal. The reason why I have an issue with this is that the reason being given is Lord Ayyappa is the presiding deity, and he is a celibate. Obviously, celibacy needs to be practiced before one enters the temple. Are we telling that menstruating women, because the age limit of 10 to 50 is barring women who are menstruating, are suddenly untouchables? There is something wrong with women who menstruate, because the largest life, right to bring life into this world originates from the menstruating women. And I think from that point of view, we've got to question traditions and we've got to question culture that's almost imposed upon women. But I respect your belief and I respect your faith. I respect the tradition that you may want to keep. I'll take this to Anuja Chauhan. And Anuja, one can always see that a large section of Lord Ayyappa devotees may never go into the temple. I'm talking about women. They may still want to adhere to their faith. They may still want to adhere to the beliefs and to traditions. But isn't it good that women at least have a choice right now? It all boils down to choice, because the choice is always denied to a woman. A man is never devoid of choices. Anuja.
I like to actually disagree with that, because I get the point that Lord Ayyappa is a celibate deity, but the burden of carrying that celibacy is on Lord Ayyappa. It is not, the whole point of being celibate is that you exercise your own willpower and you stay celibate because that is what you choose to do. It is not my job to make sure that I do not enter a space where you might be tempted into non-celibacy. Again and again, the burden is always placed on the women. It is said, you tempted someone, you went out in a short skirt, you sent out some kind of message, and therefore a man with perfectly good intentions got tempted. It's the same. It's the kernel of the same very thought right here, by saying because he has taken a vow of celibacy, women must not enter his temple. That to me is, that is at the very core of what is everything that is wrong with our society today. And that is why women are so discriminated against, because again and again, if you're a celibate, then you please stay celibate. It's a choice you made, and it is, you yourself have to make sure that your celibacy is not affected in any way. Why should I have to now, tiptoe around your celibacy? It's completely incorrect. How is that different from girls going into a bar and saying you went in there, you wore a short skirt, so a man got tempted? It's the same thing.
Right.
I'd like to clarify.
No, Anuja, I think you raised an important point. I'll just come to the point.
It's about choice.
One second. Shilpa, I'm coming.
Just give me a moment to clarify on menstruation.
Okay, I get the point. I think you're making a woman. Okay, Shilpa, come in very quickly because I want to go across.
I'll make it very quick.
Shilpa.
See, this is nothing to do with menstruation. Okay, we glorify menstruation. In fact, in Kerala, we have a temple which actually glorifies menstruation. In Chenganur, there is a temple where the Devi actually gets her periods. We believe.
Why are women in the fertile age group being kept out?
Kerala is a place which
why would
has
you
always
menstruation. It's a simple fact of life.
I'll tell you.
Leave it at that.
No, I'll tell you. In Sabarimala, there is
a made into some hocus pocusy thing. It's just
no. 1 minute. Let me finish.
Normal.
One second, Anuja. Let Shilpa
let me just clarify something on Sabarimala and menstruation. See, there is a ritual in the temple. There are 18 steps to the temple. Okay. Now, to cross that 18 steps, you should be qualified to complete a 41-day vrita. Okay, a fasting. 41-day fasting. Now, a normal woman of a menstrual age or a reproductive age cannot complete that 41 days.
Yeah.
So that is why we are not able to cross the 18 steps. This is a ritual.
Why should a woman?
This is a ritual of the temple.
No, Shilpa. Shilpa, that is my point. It may be a ritual. I respect rituals. I'm all for traditions. No, let me come in. No, exactly. 1 second. Anuja, let me come in. I am all for rituals. I respect traditions. Shilpa, please listen to me. I am all for rituals. I respect traditions.
What you can't. That's the same reason women aren't allowed in
the army. That's my point. Why should a woman be made? Why should a woman be made to feel inferior because of a physiological function? 1 second. Okay, I'm going to go across to Anand Ranganathan, and Anand, I don't agree with Shilpa. For once, I'm taking a stand absolutely against one of my panelists, and that is Shilpa. I don't agree with you because, a physiological function can't put a woman at a disadvantage. Please understand that, and that is why I'm saying a woman is not inferior because of a physiological function. But anyways, you hold that thought. Anand, I'm coming to you. Justice Chandrachud. I will come to other religions. Bear with me. Bear with me. I will come to other religions. Anand, Justice Chandrachud said something which was, I think, the crux of this judgment. He said to treat women as children of lesser God is to blink at constitutional morality. The ban says presence of women derives from celibacy. This places burden of men's celibacy on women. It stigmatizes them, stereotypes them. My question is it for the courts to reform or should the system do it? And will the system reform is the big question. Anand.
Yeah, thanks very much, Supriya, for having me. Very quick, 2 points I like to make, and both of them are quite fundamental to this discussion. I think, if you pardon my saying so, all the other panelists except Shilpa are being a bit of a hypocrite here. Let me explain. So first, let me qualify that I'm a scientist, so by definition an atheist, so I don't have a skin in the game. But let me just say that any discrimination, because I firmly believe we are but a bunch of cells, and if some cells are bleeding, they should not be preventing from doing what the other bunch of cells are doing. So any discrimination is not on. Barring entry to any place is unacceptable to me. Now that's point number one. The point number two is the most important point, and this is where let me explain why Shilpa is correct. You see, according to me, we are making a fundamental mistake, which is that we are not recognizing the contradiction between Articles 21 and 25 of the Constitution. Now, the Supreme Court is going to be in a huge problem, has opened a Pandora's box. Why do I say that? Article 21, on which part of this judgment is based, is right to life, right to liberty, right to equality, right to dignity. And Article 25 is right to practice your religion. Now, the point is, another Ms. Chauhan just said, was actually proving the point, which is what Ms. Justice Malhotra said. You cannot bring element of rationality when it comes to religion. Is absolutely true. What you were trying to say is, why is Ayyappa? Now, you see, there are some religious dictats.
So a woman should always be made to feel inferior because it's a religious practice? Religion,
then you are contradicting Article 21. So, Lord Ayyappa is celibate. These are the rules.
Anand, let me come in.
The whole point
Anand, let me come in.
If you believe in right to practice religion, just let me finish 10 seconds more, Supriya.
No, Anand.
10 seconds more, if you don't mind, because the last point is very important. Half the religious dictats, half the books would have to be thrown in the bin if you were to believe in Article 21 and not Article 25. That's the brutal fact of it.
Okay.
Well, all I can say is that I'm really looking forward to
the argument on a technical ground.
Box being opened. Great. Let's open the Pandora's box.
I want to say something.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Anuja Chauhan. Okay, Anuja Chauhan, let me come to you. That's a good point. That's a good point. Anand, give me a minute. You are trying to steer this debate, and you rightly perhaps are pointing this debate to a more legal, legal rational ground. I will go to that. But this limited point is that who has decided that religion is to be practiced the way it has been practiced for 500 years? Men. And that has to change. That is the premise. I believe in a religion. I pray to a celibate God. That is my choice. I need to have that choice today is all I'm telling you. 2018, Supriya Shrinate deserves the choice to pray and to enter a temple where I want to go. I want to go to Sabarimala Temple. I should be allowed to go there. My gender should not stop me from going in a temple. That's the limited point I'm making on this show. But anyways, Abha Singh, I'll come to you on the larger point of Article 21 versus Article 25. This judgment, Anand Ranganathan and many others have asserted, is in contradiction to the two. They are antithesis. Right to equality, liberty, dignity on one hand, and right to practice your religion the way you want on the other. Will this now apply to other religions? That's I think the other part of this debate is also coming. You're doing this to a section of people who go to Sabarimala. What about other religions? And, the Pandora's box argument that keeps coming back.
See, I would like to tell that Article 25 does talk of freedom of religion, but it also says that reasonable restrictions can be placed in the name of public order, morality and health. Then comes to Article 21. There are several court orders which have clearly said that 14, morality? 15 and 21 are above the other fundamental rights. And let me tell you, morality, the Supreme Court has clearly said constitutional morality is above religious morality, and it is constitution which is supreme, which gives women equality and right to live with dignity. Secondly, the Supreme Court clearly said that you are not any separate denomination, but you are a part of the Hindu religion, and religious practice cannot be above the fundamental right. So today what you are trying to say has been set aside clearly by the Supreme Court. No religious practice can be above the fundamental right of life, liberty, equality and dignity. So let me tell you that today is a red letter day for the women of this country, because now no further you can tie them to bondage in the name of religion. I think it is a great setback to patriarchy and misogynistic mindset, and that is why people are protesting.
I agree.
Yes.
I said it's a watershed moment.
Anand, can I please come in? Anand, I usually never take a stand on my show. I let panelists quarrel with each other. But on this one, no, Anand, 1 second. Anand, please. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. It should not be restricted to just one religion, not one way. If it is happening, let's do it for all religion. I agree with you on that count. Where I disagree with you is I need to have the choice, and no temple, no man should deny me that choice. But I have a larger question for you, Anuja, and I think, because we are talking about the legal implications of this case, the lone dissent has come from the woman justice on this panel, Justice Indu Malhotra, who argued that issues raised have impact not just on Sabarimala, but other places of worship too. She also goes on to say, and that is something that Justice Karju backs her on, and says, perilous path of over-activism lacking in self-restraint has been taken. Has the Supreme Court overstepped its brief is really the big question that critics of this judgment are today raising. Is it for the courts to decide now? How are we going to pray? Who are we going to marry? Who am I going to sleep with? Is this for the courts to decide? Or should it just actually come from the society, the system itself? Anuja.
I think that, the fact is, the state of the country today, frankly, I mean, nothing seems to be working. So I'm saying that in this current situation, if we had a healthy, active parliament that was actually doing its job, instead of, pandering and grandstanding in such a fancy way, if anything else worked, then you would say, yeah, sure, it's their responsibility. I'm just grateful that, chalo, Supreme Court is doing something. So I have no issues with that, because it's a kind of situation where somebody's got to take a stand. And if they've taken a stand, good for them. As far as Justice Indu Malhotra is concerned, I'd say, why are we making this a gender thing again? The whole point is that we should not make things into a gender thing. Let's just look at her as a judge who had a different point of view. And I think the fact that she has said this counters the argument that the judges have done this hastily and they haven't gone into it properly. Clearly they have. There's a dissenting voice, and it's from a woman who you would assume would not do this. So I think that it's a very measured decision. They've thought about it a lot. And as far as the Pandora's box argument is concerned, which is also something Justice Indu has raised, I would say that fair enough, bring it on. I mean, we've talked about triple talaq, and we've poking the, people are getting into all kinds of religions, and I think that's great, and it should be done. And it's high time we did it.
Okay, fair point indeed. So, I tend to agree with you there, and I perhaps agree with both you and Anand on one count. Let's not count Justice Indu Malhotra as the lone woman on the panel who I stand corrected there. But Shilpa Nair, one of the things that Justice Indu Malhotra said is what constitutes essential religious practice is for religious community to decide, not courts. Balance needs to be struck between religious beliefs and principles of equality and non-discrimination. Do you agree with only one premise? I'm asking you a direct question here. Is this not anti-women to deny them entry in places of worship, Shilpa? You let's not shout this argument behind rituals. Is this discriminatory or non-discriminatory? Answer the direct question.
It's non-discriminatory. It is not discrimination, I should say. See, the thing is that my friend just now told that she should be allowed. Can I just clear my point? She should be allowed to go to temple and go and pray and everything. Okay. If she has to go to a temple, she has to believe in that. Believe in the deity. She has to learn about the deity. She has to learn about the rituals of the temple. Okay. Temple is not a public area or a park or tourist spot where you can just come and enjoy and go. That is not. It's not like a museum. You can go and see the deity. I'm very distinct to see the deity. No. It is a place where devotees are going to see their deity. That deity has a right over that temple.
Endangered by the entry of women is what I'm asking.
Every temple in Kerala or in India is a house of that deity, and like any house, that deity has its own rules. You have to follow those rules. If you don't like it, go to another temple. That's it. That's
Who
very
has made
simple.
those rules? Shilpa, who made those rules? Shilpa, who made those rules? Shilpa, who made those rules? I am asking a simple question. Who made those rules?
These have
those
been
were
made
men.
by our,
those rules are made by men. No. Rules in our society, in our religion, in our culture are made by men. Why is it that every rule... Come on, Shilpa. Every rule across religions. It's not just about Sabarimala. Every rule across religions are always against women. What are you talking about?
The story behind Lord Ayyappa. Do you know why this is there and why, I mean, what is the story behind Lord Ayyappa?
I may not know the story, but I'm still inquisitive. I would still want to go. No, 1 second, Shilpa. By asking me whether I know about Lord Ayyappa, you're not going to put me on the back foot because I am not.
Before you enter a temple, you should know, like, okay, what is this temple about? And
my relationship with my God is something very private and my faith. You can't question me, do I know him or not? Anyways, Anand Ranganathan, I'm going to ask you the...
In fact, you know, I mean, I would...
But I am not denying that. I am saying it should apply to every religion. I am not denying that for a minute. I think it should apply to every religion. And only then will women empowerment happen. Anyways.
But does it?
I am not. Anand Ranganathan. But that's not my point. I am saying that you should apply it to every religion, every religious practice that is held against a woman, apply to that. I am not for a minute saying you should only apply to Lord Ayyappa devotees. Please don't get us wrong, and I don't think anybody on this panel is saying that. I think where you're getting us wrong is nobody on the panel is advocating that. We are all saying women should not be subjugated because of religious laws that were actually made by men, and this applies to people across all religions. But Anand Ranganathan, let me come to you. This has evoked very, very sharp reactions. Obviously, it's a huge divide. A lot of women have actually come out, Lord Ayyappa devotees like Shilpana herself, who said this is wrong. You know, we are interfering. The courts are now deciding how we pray. The courts are deciding our religious customs. Valid arguments by devotees who do not agree with this judgment. But will the system, does society change on its own? Anand Ranganathan?
Now, that's you know, yeah, that's a brilliant question. And let me just tell you, let me add another question to it. Should the judge mold the society, or should the society mold the judge? Now, this is where we are. This is the juncture, you see. Now, let me give you a couple of examples. Shah Bano case is one illuminating example where the Supreme Court tried to change. And what happened? The Parliament overturned the Supreme Court judgment. We have so many Muslim and Christian groups who were opposed to Section 377 being, removed. Again, in the case of you had triple talaq, we had other Muslims. So the point is, I completely agree with you that you want to do it across religions. But in India, we can't do it. Only the Hindu code has been applied, has been changed. You know, the Hindu Code Bill came in 1955. No other religion has actually accepted changing their practices. Now, that's a fact of life. According to me, that's my personal belief as a scientist. Religion ek dangal hai.
Right.
You know, as Justice Malhotra said, you cannot look for rationality. You cannot apply the element of rationality when it comes to religion. Absolutely, that is the quote of the day. Why are we looking for excuses or logic?
My only simple argument,
and in religion.
Right.
So, you know, there is a dichotomy there, but the point is Supreme Court is doing
that.
It's very dangerous.
Okay.
I applaud Supreme Court for doing it, but do it across the board.
Abba Singh wants to make a point there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not against Supreme Court doing it as long as it's done across
religion.
If we were
going by this logic,
I agree with you there where I don't agree with anybody's. Come in, Abba Singh.
I would like to come here and say, if you're talking of irrationality, you know, then issues like sati, child marriage would have never ended in this country. We would still have had a widow burning with the pyre of her husband because of these irrational customs which were being followed. It had to be a law like restraint of child marriage. It had to be ban of sati. Only today that is why widows are living in this country. So we cannot have anything irrational followed in this country. There is a rule of law. Rule of law has to be upheld, and very clearly the court has said, as I said, 14, 15 and 21 article of the Constitution cannot be compromised, and above any religious morality is constitutional morality. It is Constitution which has to be upheld, and if you come to other religion, triple talaq is there, which is concerning the Muslims.
Okay, one second, Abha Singh. I think this is the first show I'm anchoring in a very, very long time where all my guests and I are speaking at the same time. This is as emotive an issue, and for a change, I'm taking a stand on this and not really letting my guests do the talking. But Shilpa Nair, I will have a last quick question to ask of you, and that was a question that I wanted to ask you, but I think Abha Singh pointed me in the direction. Child marriage, sati, these are customs. These are customs that put women at disadvantage. These are customs that were questioned. These are customs that were questioned by law. They were banned. It's important to reform. Change stagnates. Change stinks. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you, Sati and child marriage were social evils. It has to be, because it was harming women. It was harming the body of a woman. It is harming people. Here it is, you cannot, this is like comparing apples to oranges. You cannot compare that social evil with a ritual in a temple, which is followed from years. It is not harming anybody. Women are entering only between the age of 10 to 50. They are not entering out of respect to that tradition. Another thing I'm telling you is that Kerala was always a matriarchal society. We always follow the mother's lineage, you know, the mother's name, mother's everything. So it is always given importance to ladies. So in that, Kerala is this temple called Sabarimala. So you cannot say that it is discrimination to women at all. There are temples like Article Punkala, which is held in Trivandrum in Kerala, where ladies' festival it is. Okay,
no.
Then you cannot say that men are not allowed. It is discrimination.
Yeah. I would have thought that women would have been very happy.
I started this debate, and I will go back to the. No, 1 second.
Girls between 10 and 50
I think I will come in and stop all you ladies from speaking at the same time.
It's the one place that should be safe for them.
When men enter the temple,
Shilpa,
or their
Lord Hanuman and Shilpa, please let me speak. Shilpa Nair, Lord Hanuman, Shilpa Nair. No, Shilpa Nair. Lord Hanuman is a celibate god. I pray to him. That is my right. That is my faith. That is my personal choice. Tomorrow, nobody can come and tell me because he's a celibate god and you are a menstruating woman, you should nowhere be seen close to him. It's between my Lord and my faith. That is how religion should be practiced. A woman cannot be disempowered for her gender and for a physiological process. Anyways, I want to end this discussion there. It's been fascinating having all of you. It's a vibrant discussions. Help us get the best ideas out. This one, I'm going to take a stand on and be completely biased. It's a decision of the Supreme Court that empowers women. We have turned the clock back. If we're going to go back and ask for review, we must not do that. This is for women empowerment. This is where the debate needs to go. Thank you very, very much. Shilpa Nair, Anand Nagarath, and Abha Singh, and Anuja Chauhan for being with us.